Disclaimer, I am not an expert. The following show will have strong language. The views and opinions in this program are solely for entertainment purposes. This show is intended for adults. Guardian discretion is strongly advised. Hello, I am Anthony. Been kind of kicking around a few different titles for this show, but this episode is titled Expectations and Reality. From here on out, this being the first episode, I just want to give recognition to the following people: my parents, my siblings, my wife, my friends, my fellow struggling artists, and 3 cool babies from West Virginia. If you know, you know. As I was writing the script and revised it quite a lot, I'll probably go off script here and there, but I was asking myself the possibly the same question that you'd be asking yourself is, as a listener, why the fuck is he talking, or why do I care? Along with a handful of other great questions. I'm positive that the handfuls of other well-qualified people who hold similar perspectives or would more artfully articulate the onslaught of thoughts better than I could. Before we really dive in, I want it to be known that I am unqualified and quote-unquote uneducated. I'm non-accredited and probably far too ignorant to be speaking to an untold number of humans on a plethora of topics. Oof. I'm going to need that sound editing equipment to brush this up. Anyways, even now with some of the roadmap ideas that I have, which I have like a whole list of episode topics that probably range for the next couple of months. I think I'm at 14 or 15 now, but as this goes on and as either viewers kind of increase and just overall interest for this kind of takes off, I hope, we'll kind of get to the those episodes later on. And additionally, as I kind of am going off script right now, is I will plan on rebranding. So the first couple episodes I'll be just posting to this channel, the Italiano AJB89, for a while. But that aside, we'll worry about rebranding later. So the roadmap. There's a knocking at my brain that I feel like is probably ego. It's whispering, this won't go well. You suck. You're a narcissist, among other self-doubts and self-disparaging phrases. But life is too short for self-doubt. And how do we gauge our impact on the world, our communities, or ourselves if we never try? Maybe I'm delusional, maybe a little psychotic, I hope not, or shades of all in between. That very well could be answered upon reflecting on this episode. Excuse the page turns, and I promise as this show gets a little more better, you won't hear as many page turns. So, today's topic, expectations versus reality. How the two differ, and how they can sometimes overlap, becoming one and the same. I know y'all are intelligent, but to hedge my bets, I'd like to explain the definition of both words and marrying that with my example. Expectation, it's a noun. It's a belief, something will happen. Reality is a noun. The world is the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic, notional idea of them. Okay. My excitement for this project is something I expect to continue till the end, and how could I expect less? That whole entire thing of my episode guide list, I just kept writing, ooh, this would be an interesting topic, and ooh, that would be interesting too. I do consider myself a creative type, allowing thoughts to kind of drift in my hand like sand. If there's something that has weight, I want to hold on to it. If it's just another, excuse the turn of phrase, just a brain fart, I want to kind of let that go. when in reality, not every day will be the same. My person at this particular point in time could flip flop. My pride post posting, after posting, I could be jubilant. Although the day after, I could be getting picked up off the floor by my wife as I cry. At the time of writing this, I'm hopeful, I'm excited, I'm eager. Once I start recording, though, I could allow regret and fear to creep their ugly asses inside and unravel the possibility of any sense of success, which has been known to happen. Years before I even did anything else, I independently started rapping on my own, and that was something that was not even on my mind. It was this manager who became a friend of mine, who happened to have read this piece that I was writing, and I left my notebook with all of this content in it on a desk in the back room where I probably shouldn't have, because it was easily accessible to anybody and everybody who would go to the back room. So my manager, my buddy, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I happen to have read what you wrote, and man, you got something." I'm maybe 18, 19 at this time, and I'm living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and getting that kind of, not necessarily attention, but that affirmation, maybe, that sparked something huge in me, and I kind of went with it for a couple of years after that, and I might have stopped recording probably in my early 20s. I might have been 23 or 24. Anyways, it was interesting. I learned a lot. I got myself a little bit of rhythm and kind of went with it, and gave me a great opportunity to actually meet some producers who were actually really good classmates of mine, and one good friend of mine I met well out of high school. So shout out to Harry Black and shout out to James Hennessy. Back to the point, or not the point, but back to the script. Regret and fear creeping their ugly asses back in. It could unravel the possibility of any sense of success, either through success of being unrelenting or by reaching and resonating with any volume of audiences. Reality could contradict my own expectations, despite the intensity of my wants and needs. Before I allow my ego to pull the plug, I'd like to share a peek at what's on my agenda. Each week, I'm aiming to drop at least one episode and potentially post videos and whatnot, shorts, other stuff to kind of engage y'all. As of now, I will probably be the only participant. I've had a couple of interested parties to either interview, which I think I would do a discredit to them as I never took journalism, but asking questions and just engaging in general has been something that's come easy to me. And anybody who wants to co-host with me, God bless them. But I do owe it to myself and y'all, the audience, to prove my dedication through doing this project solo for a while. Again, to highlight my enthusiasm and prove the longevity of whatever this turns out to be. A warning I have here, which you might have already picked up, is I'm going to be pivoting a lot. Now and in the future, despite writing a script to stick to, for instance, returning to my claim of being unqualified and uneducated. I took maybe 1 or 2 courses seriously at this community college that I failed horribly. It was a history course, which focused on Western civilization, and a yoga class. Yoga is awesome, by the way. If anyone out there is injured, if you have above, I don't even know what the term is, so don't take this seriously, but if you've sprained your wrist, or if you have injured something, I would definitely give yoga a shot. It increases your flexibility, does something for your mind as well. And a lot of good teachers in beginner classes, they'll state like, oh, if you can't do a pose, just give certain positions a try, and if it hurts too much, go into a gentler pose for a while. But I would always recommend like trying to push yourself. But again, not an expert, I'm not a doctor. Don't hurt yourself worse. So unqualified. Most jobs that I've had, meaning about 95%, were manual labor and are in the retail realm. As I reflected on my other jobs, landscaping, an airline ramp agent, a mortuary greeter, I suppose, and a coffee pourer. I believe the latte-er, or the latter, qualifies me somewhat to talk. It's how I coped with you caffeine fiends trying to calculate when exactly your drink would come out next. So instead of that awkward, hey, is my cappuccino ready? I would just start a conversation, just pass the time, make the wait a little bit less for the person expecting their drink, and it would also just help me get over, hey, I have someone staring right at me right now. So that helped. As my first viewing went as horrible as it could at the funeral home, don't worry, a corpse didn't pop out or anything. This grieving family member arrived, and me greeting them, I thought nothing of it. I just went into normal customer service mode and went, hello, how are you? And they didn't skip a beat. They looked around, looked back at me, and just passed me up. I clearly forgot where I was, and it was obvious that I was not a good fit. So apologies, and again, the person was, they gave me a lot of grace. They were not terribly mean, and I would have, on the flip side, would have just dug into myself. So let me get through the rest of the script. It has me trying to wrap this up, but I do want to kind of take one last pivot, and I might even go away with the script entirely, but a little bit more about myself. So a hard 180 is that I had military parents. They retired and brought me over to the U.S. So I was born out of the States. And once they decided to retire, we went to, I don't even know if they've changed the name, but it was Presidio, California, and it's right in the San Francisco Bay. So after they retired, we grew up in California. I left right after high school, jumped around the South for a little bit, specifically South Carolina and North Carolina. And then after that, moved to Nevada. My apologies. Moved from North Carolina to Nevada for, I think, 2 years. That's where I met my manager, who became a good friend of mine, Nick. He's the one who, I said earlier, caught some of my scribbles on pieces of paper and kind of gave me that little push to follow a dream of mine. After that, I then relocated out here in Tennessee, and just with everything kind of going the way that it has, I thought I'd just give a podcast a shot, kind of bringing up the 3 cool babies from earlier. I don't want to plug them too hard because they're doing pretty well, but after listening to them for quite some time, I it's just like, that seems easy, that seems fun. Granted, they have a lot of dialogue because it's three siblings just being goofy with one another, but they also brought levity, and that was something that in this, I don't know what the term is, doom scrolling kind of fad that some people might have. I know I've been in it. It was just nice. It brought a breath of fresh air to the internet, and I would love to give them a huge round of applause. Definitely when I'm down, that is something that I go towards to just kind of lift my spirits. And if I'm ever really mopey, I know that my wife will cheer me up. She always has like a baked good kicking around in her head that she always wants to make. And sweet tooth, huge sweet tooth. So we're a perfect match. Another YouTuber that I kind of want to give a shout out to is Gary's Economics. So going back to my academic days, if you want to call it that, I failed terribly in political science and economics in high school. The way that my high school had broken it up was, I think the senior year for our high school, you had to take a semester of poli-sci, and the second semester you had to take an economics course. Sorry. So again, me not having my own real base of knowledge to either check what this guy is saying, he does dive into a lot of explanations. So again, Gary's Economics, awesome channel. Now, as far as continuing on this channel, I'm trying to acquire domain names. I do want this to be self-sustaining to where I can promote myself, as well as get other people that are close to me and those that show a genuine interest in this channel the opportunity to promote themselves in anything that they're doing. So I'm quite excited to see what comes of that, who I meet, and also to just get y'all's feedback on what this is becoming. Sorry for the page flips. Again, as this advances, the quality of the recording, the quality of just the content itself will go up. If you do want to hear my raps, which I'm not forcing you, so no pressure, but you can find it on soundcloud.com/TonyJames1989. Again, that's soundcloud.com TonyJames1989. What I do want to wrap up with is, oops, that was a pen. Apologize for that. I guess the last couple of plugs I want to do is I created a Patreon page, which I hope to have content and solidified more of a quote-unquote branded channel to go and to coincide with the Patreon page. And I'll put that link down in the below, as well as a GoFundMe page. And that anything you can donate is extremely huge. If you also want to push that to other people, that would be just as great. For the GoFundMe, I actually posted a dollar amount that I'm trying to hit, and I took the items that I'm aiming to acquire through that. That's where the total came up. So, for instance, trying to get this contracted artist to do some of the media aspects, to either this first episode, you'll notice that there's just probably a black box that you're staring at. So I'd want to brand that, have just either some kind of nice visual to look at, as well as get branded thumbnails. And this artist is awesome. He's been a great friend of mine. And again, just trying to get him his dues. And anything else? Oh, yes. I want to shout out to Chris and Leslie, as well as my wife and their significant others. July is actually, it's been a pretty awesome month. Had my birthday recently, and my wife surprised me with our close friends here in this area, and they came out, surprised me. We had a blast. So again, huge shout out to my wife, Marissa. Huge shout out to Chris, Tierra, Leslie, and Celestita. Thank you so much for coming by. I love you all. And I think we're going to wrap this up. So stay up, stay safe, and don't forget to use your turn signal.